Hi, my name is Heather Mackey. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today I wanted to talk about a life worth living. Your life has many desires. Likely it's part of being a human. And being in this dichotomy, in this dualistic realm, this polarized realm, illustration of what I'm saying here is up, down, good, bad, right, wrong, left, right. you know, Being in a realm where there is duality, there is infinite opportunity to feel two opposing things at one time. It's why I talk about hypocrisy a lot, because hypocrisy is kind of an inevitable in a duality because we want both and. You can want a partnership or the concept of a family, but also want to be independent, alone, individualistic, and to have unlimited opportunity to share your attention with yourself instead of other things. We can often want two things at one time. I want to work and have a purpose and have a way that I'm driving my life forward towards a vision, but I don't want to have to work, and I just want to travel and do whatever I want. And so we can often feel two things at one time. What is interesting is that our brains have a biochemistry. There are neuropeptides, or neurological chemicals, that are released in our brain biochemistry in response to certain conditions of thinking. And we have a variety, these neuropeptide cocktails, a variety of cocktails, different things served in the bar of our mind. So there can be certain types of thoughts can elicit certain neuropeptide responses in your brain. If you are a person who tends to worry a lot, and you worry about the world, you worry about your life, you worry about your family, you worry about others, that condition called the thoughts around worrying elicits a specific neuropeptide or chemical cocktail to be released in your brain. And it becomes a chemical addiction. We become addicted to having that release. Just like you can have a release of endorphins if you start running or doing yoga or having like this healthy practice, you can have endorphins, just like serotonin and dopamine and some of these cocktails that our brain releases. You can have, it will elicit a certain experience for you to receive that cocktail. So what is valuable is to consider if the cocktails you're working with are the ones you want to be sipping from down here. Are these the ones I want to work with? Because if you're somebody who's really optimistic, really happy, tends to turn the attention to positivity, that also has a certain neuropeptide release. And there's a beautiful film. I actually saw it 7 times in the theaters when it came out, called What the Bleep Do We Know? It's sort of cheesy, but I was riveted. I was riveted when this film came out, that this information was being offered to the masses. I feel like we've been waiting for a long time to better understand why our paradigm seems so locked into certain ruts. And we can feel like we're in a rut. I'm just in this rut of worrying, or I'm in this rut of depressive thinking, or I'm in this any particular consciousness thought-based rut that is causing a cyclical pattern of you receiving that brain cocktail that you then become addicted to. The good news is that all power lies in your own hands. All answers lie in your own vessel. So good. Lovely. So everything you need is actually right there within you. We do know, if you have a marathon runner and they close their eyes and imagine a race that they've run, the muscles in their body will fire as if they're running that race. What this means is that your body does not have any association between what is actually being experienced and what is imagined as being experienced. The reason that information is important is because if you've had experiences of trauma, experiences that would make you worry, experiences that would make you anxious, experiences that may cause you to decide that you're a victim, those particular ruts of thinking ultimately will lead to these particular responses in your brain. And you are at choice to change your mind about the stories you're going to tell in your beloved noggin. what stories am I going to tell up here? So the concept of living a life worth living, the first question I would want to ask myself is, what is a life worth living to me? What is your definition of success? My definition of success is joy. It's not baubles. I mean, I'm going to die and exit my flesh costume, and you can take all the items I've gathered and throw them on top of my dead body, and they're not coming with me. They're not coming with me. I mean, to me, it's like such a nominal facet of life. How many baubles I can gather, how many dollar bills I can have. I'm very blessed and abundant in my life at this juncture because I've also surrendered that vision. And true prosperity tends to follow the form and content of moving towards the vision of what is desired in the life, which is where my focus has been for a while now. So the question is, what is success to you? What is a life worth living? Is it one that has connection? Is it one that has intimacy? Is it one that has vibrancy, vitality, humor? What is your priority down here? I got to tell you, Earth School will offer you priorities left and right. They're like, here's a priority, get a job. Here's a priority, make money. That's called success. Here's a priority. So life, because of collective consciousness, likes to offer lots of opportunities for how you can value a life and for you to show you, like, this is what's valuable. This is what's worth living for. But we are individuals and we have an individual vision. I have an individual vision, and some of those things are dualistic. I have an individual vision of going to many different jungles, working directly with shamans, learning plant medicine, and that can feel like a very individualistic thread to me, to deliver plant medicines to mankind and to absorb data from wise elders that know and have been handed down wisdoms from wise beings that I would be honored to know. That's a life worth living to me, is to connect with that level of consciousness down here. And I can also have visions to, have my life also have like roots and kind of like stability in the sense of my tribe, and pouring that same level of love, devotion, and attention towards partnership or some type of, family concept or home concept. And at the same time, I want to be this wild animal that goes from jungle to jungle. just, so we can want a lot of divergent things. So clarity is really conducive to ensuring that you're on a path that leads you towards a life that, to you, not to someone else, not to society's idea of what a life worth living is, to you is a life worth living. To me, a life worth living has joy, it has divine friendship, it has intimacy that leads in a lot of different directions, because closeness and authenticity, vulnerability are qualities that I value, and honesty, So one of the things I want to say for a life worth living is making sure that idea, that concept, that vision is one that is chosen by you, by your beautiful, beautiful matrix and the beautiful decisions you make for what really aligns with your frequency, your TV channel, your radio station down here. Another aspect or facet of this to me is to move towards what you do feel passionate about, what you do feel called to commune with. So much of what I hear from the two-leggeds down here, so much that comes through is, I want to teach a class on this, or I want to write a book, or I want to sing a song, or I want to be in a band, or I want to be an artist. And then the immediate concept to follow that is, but, not and, but there are many that have already been an artist or an author, or like, why does anybody care what my life has to say? Or why, nobody wants to hear me, or it doesn't matter if I get on video. There are people that I watch on YouTube that have millions of followers. Their personality is hilarious and fun, and I enjoy the insights that they give my consciousness. And I'm sure they didn't anticipate being there, but really what they did is they didn't let that voice stop them and hinder them from living a life worth living to them. A life worth living to me is one in which I'm able to connect one-on-one with like minds. I'm able to connect in small groups, and potentially in my future larger groups of people on topics of interest. And that is the life that I'm living right now. And that happened one step at a time as I moved more and more towards aligning with what I want to see. Heather wants to see herself pour a nice cup of tea, have a tarot reading or a one-on-one session or counseling session with someone, and really help them to see the magnificence of their being and all the answers that live within them, and for them to really love themselves and to be an asset and an assistant in this realm to love, a guide back to love within the individual, a guide back to you as you are the answer. I do that work now, and I had to stop that voice that would tell me, no, it doesn't matter what you want to say, or because my initial step to launch Rare Bird Medicine was to start making daily videos. I have a YouTube channel under Rare Bird Medicine that you can subscribe to. That YouTube channel, 9 months ago, I was instructed and guided through my inner knowing to start making these videos, these free offerings to humanity of concepts to ponder. These little 15-minute excerpts on ponder this. So it's been such a gift to free up my expression, because the reason we should create is for the joy of creating, not because the message has or has not been given yet, not because someone else is or is not doing this, not because of anything outside of the self. The reason you should write that song, the reason you should perform that play, the reason you should become that costume designer, the reason you should make that YouTube channel, the reason that you should step towards your dream and keep taking the next step until you get to really view life from the top of that mountain called a life worth living and having fulfilled your vision and your dreams down here, is because you enjoy that path. You choose that path. You say, I would really like to make music. I feel like having a creative dance class in which we get on Zoom and just freak out and dance around the room. Just creative dance, just move the body, liberate the self. Whatever beautiful vision you hold for your life is viable. The only thing really, truly, that can stand in your way is you. You are the blockade to living a liberated life that encompasses the fullness of your vision for how you want to share yourself with the world. There's nothing that says you have to share yourself with the world as a cashier or as an employee at XYZ Corporation. If that's not your vision, if that's not your intent, I promise you, you'll never get out of that paradigm if you don't place attention on the life it is you say you want to live. So the questions I ask myself when it comes to living a life worth living are these. What is a life worth living to me? What is a life that when I take my last breath, I'll be like, that was really something, wasn't it? So, whoa, what a creation. Knocked it out of the park. So what does that mean? What is success to you? Where are you trying to go? And also, what are my passions? What are my interests? What is it I want to pursue? What is it I want to share? And instead of stopping yourself before you start walking on the path there, just do it for the joy of creating. Do it for the joy of expressing. Do it for the joy of sharing yourself with the world in the way that you want to. May you and I continue to take daily steps towards the life worth living that we hold as a vision within our being. Blessed be.